Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Job Searching as an Educator workshop for the College of Education here at United States University. I apologize, my camera is having some difficulties today, so you get a lovely picture of me instead, so apologies for that. If this is your first time interacting with Career and Alumni Services, hello, my name is Logann Todd. I am the Career and Alumni Services Manager for United States University. My job is really to help you feel prepared with what's next after graduation. So whatever that looks like for you, if you're going into a teaching role, if you're continuing with your current internship site, looking for other opportunities outside of teaching as well in the education space, please know that I'm a resource for you and I'm happy to help you and coach you through it, whatever that looks like. So my email is here listed for you, but you are also welcome to schedule an appointment with me using the Calendly system. And here's the link to schedule that appointment via Calendly. I'll also make sure it's in my follow-up email to you today. So I want to start out today, today's job searching workshop by talking about networking, because I think when we think about job searching, networking is a component of job searching, but it's not the entire thing, of course. So networking really is enhancing that job search experience by helping you create connections in the industry. So whether that's at current districts or at current organizations or employers that you might be interested in, networking also allows you to just enhance your existing skills and expertise to really help you feel more prepared with that job search. So asking questions, communicating with people in the field, asking for advice, right? But networking is really great because it provides you access to insider information, things you might not know by reading a website, which we like to call the hidden job market. So what this looks like from this point of view, when we start searching for jobs, right, we go to job boards like LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, EDJoin, and we usually just apply there, right? Then we might contact an agency or a hiring company to help us. Then we might tap into some professional organizations. Then we start networking. Maybe we have a referral from an existing employee, or maybe we already work there. We're just trying to move up. So these are the different things that we do as job seekers. But an employer kind of likes to hire from the opposite side. So they would rather hire someone internally. It's much cheaper for them, it's much faster for them. They don't have to provide further onboarding and training. Then they might ask the company employees for referrals. So do you know anyone? Or they might incentivize referrals. Then they might ask around, contact professional organizations. Then they might hire a recruitment agency to help them fill this position. And the last step for them is usually posting online. The important thing to note here is that these last three steps for the employer, which are our first steps as job seekers, are actually the most expensive options for the employer. It's the most costly, it's the most time consuming. And so for an employer, they would much rather just hire internally or get a referral from someone who already works for them. So your job is to really make it easy for the recruiters and employers. You can control every single step in this process. Of course, if you don't already work there, then we can't do that one. But the other ones, right, we do have control over. We can contact people who currently work there. We can start networking and chatting with folks, joining professional organizations, having recruiters assist us, and of course, applying online, which we're likely already doing. Professional associations are excellent ways to connect with others in the field, get more familiar with the policies, procedures, impact that the field is making. A lot of professional organizations put on conferences, networking events, webinars. They also have a lot of committee work, so really hands-on projects and opportunities for you to get more involved. They often have online groups, forums, monthly meetings that you can attend. But a lot of them also have a private job board, so you can access those by being a member. While you're a student, it's even more essential to take advantage of these because they often give you discounts on membership. So either free or low-cost membership, depending on the organization. These are also great to bring up in an interview, to add to your professional documentation like resumes, cover letters, your LinkedIn profile as well. But really, it's a great space for you to connect with folks who are in the same field. And here, once you get the slides, you'll be able to click all of these links and you'll be able to check them out. Now, informational interviewing, or also known as career conversations, are great things to do while you're job searching because it's gaining you access to information from people who are doing that work. So these can look a little bit different depending on how you want to set them up. They can be virtual, over the phone, in person. They can be over coffee. It could be just grabbing a quick bite to eat for lunch. So these career conversations can really look different depending on what you feel comfortable with. But like I said, it's really a space for you to ask questions, communicate with recruiters, current employers, friends, and ask the important questions that you have that will give you the answers that you're looking for. So I do have some examples of what you could ask using this informational interviewing guide. You can scan this QR code. It'll take you to the PDF on the website. But asking them, what does the day-to-day look like? What is your favorite parts of your job? What are your least favorite parts of your job? What are good things to know about the employer? How does the employer recognize you for good work, right? Asking the questions that you have that will make a well-informed decision. Is this a great space for you to work? So I have a sample list of questions you could potentially ask. I definitely recommend saving this, bookmarking this somewhere safe so you have it for the future. And while you're networking, it's always good to keep contact information from the folks in your network. So I do have a sample networking contact list that's pre-built. You can use it as a template if you want. But as you're starting to really enter the workforce and building more connections, it's great to stay connected with these people. Now, I'm not saying you have to call them every week and say, hey, how's it going? But it's good to check in maybe once a year or just say, hey, I really love my experience at USU, would love to stay in touch over time. Maybe just send them a Happy New Year message or email and let them know you're thinking of them. Because you never know, they might reach out and say, hey, I have a job for you, or hey, there's an opening at my company. Or you might be in a position to offer that to them as well. So it's great to have a space where you have all of your connections in one place. Now, networking in itself is, there's a lot of components that make up networking. And so, of course, today we only talked about a couple options like the hidden job market, staying in touch and whatnot. But in terms of creating your elevator pitch, dressing for success, different materials that you can use for networking, I put it all in this networking guide. You can also access this from the website. The link will be live when you get the slides, but I'll put that link in the chat real quick for you. There you go. So you can bookmark this and save it. So I wanted to touch base about job or networking before we jump into job searching, because I think it's an important component when we think about the entire job search process. But once we sit down and are actually starting to job search, I really want you to set yourself up for success. I want to make sure that you have everything that you need to feel comfortable and confident navigating this process. So whatever that looks like for you, making sure your application materials are up to date, making sure if you're going into a teaching role, having some type of portfolio or combination of lesson plans that you can showcase to the principal or to the interviewer. But also you might need some other important documents like your transcripts, proof of enrollment, verification forms. These are typical things that might be asked of from an employer standpoint. So making sure you know where to look for those or having them on hand already. The process itself can be a little scary, can be a little overwhelming, but know that I'm here to support you. You have your support staff in the College of Education. We are here and happy to help you through this. I do have a checklist for job searching. Again, you can scan that QR code. It's also listed on the Career Services website. So job searching has a bunch of different phases that you go through. So of course, right now we're really focusing on the preparation phase, getting our documents ready, making sure we have everything we need, practice interviewing. And then the action phase is we're in the process, we're already submitted our applications, we're getting callbacks, right? But this is a really great comprehensive guide to go over everything, making sure you feel prepared. What you should be doing too is reaching out to folks who you already know. So these could be current employers, your teaching supervisors. These are people that can really attest to your abilities to work. It's important to let them know that you're job searching and always ask for permission. So If you know you want to use them as a reference or ask them to write a letter of recommendation, give them advance notice. No one likes to be surprised or get random phone calls, right? So always ask for the permission, always give them enough time to give a quality response. So if you're asking for a letter, give them as much time as possible. Also, I have some other different resources and tips here. So how to choose references for a job application, how to ask someone to be a reference, a sample list of references. So instead of putting them on our resume or our CV, which you should not be putting them on there, it should be a separate document. This is a template you can use for that. And then how to follow up. So they're doing an important job by recommending you and being a reference. So what are you supposed to do after that? It's really important that you think about that step as well. And this resource goes over all those details. Something else, if you attended the last session on personal branding as an educator, this is one of the items, but I think it's great for job searching. When you're starting this process, you probably have a couple different emails already, but sometimes things can get lost in our email or we miss important things. So what I would recommend is creating an entire email account just for job searching. So that way you know that anything coming in and out of this inbox is relevant to job searching. I always recommend branding it. So if you can somehow create an email signature or something that really is a representation of you and your personality a little bit, I think that definitely goes a long way with the employer. Another item that goes along with this is your voicemail. So I know it's a little silly to be mentioning this, but you're ultimately going to be getting calls from employers to schedule interviews or follow-up messages from the recruitment and HR team. And it's important that you can access these, and it's important that they can leave a voicemail for you. So one, make sure you check your voicemail and that it's accessible for messages. So can people actually leave a voicemail? Is your voicemail box full? Delete any old messages that you don't need anymore. And then consider creating a new voicemail message. You probably haven't updated it in a while. So think about creating a professional sounding message at the end of the tone. There are so many different places that you can search for jobs. So what I would recommend for any of my teacher candidates is actually going to the district's website directly to apply. Now, if you're in the state of California, EdJoin is the #1 job board for California teachers. So I would recommend going there first. It's probably going to be listed on the company's page anyway, or the district's page anyway, but definitely recommend starring this one. But for anybody outside of California, Arizona, Texas, making sure that you go to the districts or go to the company's page directly. They're often listed there. Some other resources, though, for other spaces in education. So jobs.teacher.org are teacher-related roles. It's not necessarily like a middle school teacher, but it could be different types of teachers. So maybe it's outside of the traditional K through 12 space. Maybe it's a private company that does tutoring services or teaching Microsoft Excel courses to the public, for example, right? Careers for educators, again, this is actually backed by the American Association for Employment and Education, or AAEE. So it is a really great resource for you. And then for anyone interested in post-secondary or higher education opportunities within student affairs, I recommend Higher Ed Jobs. Is a really great site. It updates regularly and it will send you directly to the page to apply instead of like a third-party service similar to Indeed. EdSurge is more for education technology. So this would be more of like curriculum or instructional design positions or working anywhere in the education technology space. Think like Chegg or Handshake, anything that partners with schools for education related items. So EdSurge is a great opportunity there. Now I do want to show you workined.org recently launched a new educator job search site where you can explore teaching careers around the world. So it offers a map. You can zoom in on your location, look at different districts, grade levels, hiring timelines, but know that it is backed by EdJoin. So if you use this and you go, for example, filter in California, you're going to go to EdJoin. Some of the other sites might take you somewhere else, but a lot of the information here is through EdJoin. So that's workined.org. I will put that link in the chat as well. And you can check it out. Some other trusted job search sites, of course, LinkedIn, Indeed, we've already kind of chatted about a couple times. These are great. DiversityJobBoard.com, so anybody who identifies as a minority, woman, or individual with disabilities, Diversity Job Board might be a great option for you. And then if you're interested in working as a government employee, whether that's for the federal or state level, USA Jobs and Government Jobs are my two recommendations. I will say they do have very specific guidelines on your application material, so make sure you research that ahead of time and you plan accordingly. If you're looking for fully remote roles, which in education, they are very common, especially in the education technology space. But of course, in a traditional teaching role, you're probably going to be in a classroom. But if you are interested in remote roles, I just want to throw this slide in here. So LinkedIn and Indeed both have a remote job filter option, so you can just see the remote or hybrid options. Jobspresso is a little bit different. It's a lot more business related roles, but there are some educational positions in there. And then remote.ok is for our larger companies. So Chegg, for example, is a very large organization. It is under the education and technology space, so you might see some positions there. When it comes to job searching, it's important to stay organized because you're probably submitting a bunch of applications and it's sometimes hard to keep track of all of those in one place. So I do recommend using some type of job application tracker, whether that's pen to paper and putting it in a notebook, or I do have this job application tracker template that you can use. I'll put this link in the chat as well, so you can check that out. So like I said, you can track your positions, track the company information, the date you applied, when you've had interviews, did you send a follow-up note, all of those great items. Another thing that comes with job searching is rejections, right? So maybe we get that dreaded email that says we've decided to go with another candidate. I really want you to reframe your mindset around rejections, because rejections don't mean that the door is closed. It just means that we need to take a different path to get to this. So I don't want you to dwell on it. I know it's kind of scary and it's upsetting because you put a lot of work into your application. You were really excited. But the important thing here is to be professional. So I want you to follow up to their rejection. I want you to be kind. I want you to be professional and ask for feedback. Let them know, like, you're really interested in this. Is there any feedback that you would be able to provide me so that I could prepare better next time, or that I can do better, right? And so oftentimes we never know really what happens behind the scenes. That's kind of the downside of being a job seeker, is that you don't really know what's going on. So there could be people who are on vacation and that's why it takes them a long time to get back to you, or there's some different shifting going around in the organizational structure. Be second in line for the position or the backup for the role, right? And so they ended up offering the position to another candidate, and they're maybe that falls through. You would be that second option. And so it's really important to treat rejections as just an alternative pathway. So it might not be right for you right at this moment, but that doesn't mean it's not available to you in the future. So always accept any feedback. Take this opportunity as an opportunity to do better next time. And hopefully that pathway will kind of refocus for you in the future. So some final tips for success as we wrap up here. Important here with job searching, it can be a lengthy process. So please be proactive and prepare ahead of time. Update your materials, make sure they're all up to date with all of your important information. This includes your resume, portfolio, cover letter, anything essential to this position. We're going to stay organized. We're going to keep track of our contact information, keep track of our job searching. And then we're going to do our research, and we're going to try to connect with folks who work at the company so we can get a referral, right? It's less costly for the employer to hire from within or hire from a referral than it would be to post online. Take advantage of the many resources available to you. shared a couple in the chat. There's even more on the Career Services website. And then, of course, know that I'm here to support you. I'm going to actually give you a quick demo of where to find the career information. So if you're on usuniversity.edu, our main website page, under the Students tab, my department is the second option. So under Career and Alumni Services, this is where you get to the main page here, and there's a bunch of resources linked within here. If you scroll down, this is where you can access all of our upcoming events virtually, of course. And then under each of these buttons, you have even more access to information. So under the Career Resources tab, there's an entire button just for job search tools. So there's that job search checklist I showed you, informational interviewing guide, how to ask for a letter of recommendation. So there are a bunch of information sources here as well. And then for anyone who is of a particular identity within our community, definitely check out these specific resources. So if you are an international student, if you do identify as a student of color, there's different categories or different sections of relevant resources. Also have some different resources for any of our veteran or active military communities. So lots of really great resources on this site. And so I wanted to show you that really quick. But that's it for today's session. I really hope that this was helpful and you learned some new information to help you in your job search. I'm going to put another link in the chat here. This is just for the feedback form. So if you enjoyed today's presentation, if you found it helpful, even if you didn't, this form is anonymous. It only takes about 1 minute to complete, but it's really helpful for me so that I can get an idea of the types of topics and information you'd like me to present in the future. So once again, thank you so much for joining me today. Here is my contact information once again. I'll make sure it's included in the follow-up email, and be sure to check out the Career Resources website for lots of information, and it is updated regularly. So definitely bookmark it, start for the future so you can always check back. Take care, everyone, and have a fantastic rest of your day.